All right, guys, we're back. We're back. And gonna open up. The browser.
Oh, fucking goddamn it, Manta.
Hell.
I didn't even notice you.
Dangerous.
I got it off.
This was posted yesterday, basically. Today for us, yesterday for most people. 0.1.4.1 I have notifications on Twitter, so when I saw Herb post this, I knew it was going to be something good. Usually not posting a lot of like relevant stuff, so. So let's see. Hello, Skyfair has been hard work. Releasing a big update, version 1.4.1 to the Worlds Adrift closed beta. Continue to focus on fixing the bigger bugs and make a lot of tweaks and balance changes, but got a few cool new features. They have a video that will explain stuff. How long is this? 7 minutes. We'll skip
Let's
that.
not do that.
Skip that.
Watch the video.
Watch the video. Hey, look.
It's Herb.
So, patch notes in detail. Yeah. One thing I was hoping, I skimmed this before that I didn't see, was any info on fixing lag. So.
There is.
Okay.
There is a little bit.
So we'll see.
It's just gonna they basically said it's gonna be a little bit at a time, but we'll get to that.
New features. Atlas Core. And on interactability, send a pulse through the whole ship. The pulse will detach all grappling hooks and climbers, and prevent grappling or climbing for a brief period as a cooldown, and uses an Atlas shard. So, they mentioned this a few weeks ago as like one of their PvP changes, and this one's going to be like good for both pirates and for, well, good for all people, I guess. If you are a small crew and you have access to your core, and we come flying in and we latch onto your ship, you can knock us off. Just cost an Atlas shard. Give you a reason to store Atlas shards, and this also takes off climbing, so there's no like gimmicky way to like stick onto somebody's ship. The downside for this, not downside, but the other thing to keep in note is it's going to affect your crew as well. So if you have a 7-man crew and somebody's flipping around on the bottom of your ship, shooting out, taking out stuff, if your whole crew is down there, you're going to detach everybody, which might be the right answer.
So play the above video at 6 minutes and 51 seconds, and you'll see that actual what it actually looks like.
Okay. So did the pulse, everybody fell off. I didn't,
That's it.
gonna put audio on. Is there a...
There's like a sound to it, yeah. And he was also sitting there for a second. You could see him like.
But there was no. There was no warning sound with that. No warning sound that this is about to occur. It just happens. So that's. I thought they would have balanced, like give some kind of notification that it's being activated, like a charge up sound or something. But it seems like it just instantly pulses.
We can give that feedback once they implement it, or
right.
maybe before. We might be able to reach out to them.
It's Yeah, it's one of those things where you're going to get detached and can't reattach. You know, you're basically dead. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it is in that regard. It's if they don't have some notification, you are instantly dead. So it's a very powerful tool for a crew where they can literally instantly kill any enemy on their ship. Because
That isn't
they're
standing on it.
right, right. So that's something where um, having a warning, it seems more balanced in the sense that you're literally killing, like there could be 5 people on your ship, a massive crew, and you're killing 5 people instantly. Should have some kind of warning, or you know,
Way to react to.
even if it's just a couple seconds to let you know this is about to come, like rather than just, oh yep, okay, we're all falling now, we're all dead, spawn. So, but I like it. I think it's a great idea. It fits with the lore in a way, because you know your Atlas core is providing all the lift and everything into like have some weird effect on grapples and climbing, you know, not knocking people off. It's kind of,
And I also really like the balancing mechanic of a lot of ships right now. They have absolutely no reason to ever interact or ever see their sky core, so they just completely enclose it, kind of like ours.
including ours.
So,
Yeah,
so having the ability to actually, you know, have a reason to interact with your Atlas core, also it makes it so that if you can access your Atlas core, depending on how you do it, most people would just have it open now, where they can just like in that video, walk in and touch it.
yep,
And that means that we can walk in and touch it.
right, which would be interesting.
We might be able to activate the Atlas core pulse too.
Yep, and
Like,
time
that's
it.
a very real possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, be weird, because you know when we're flying, you always like come off your ship, right? Like when you spawn, you're never just like sitting there on your ship. So
Yeah. Yeah, we could pulse. We could kill them, and then immediately start the pulse because it takes 10 seconds, I'm sure. And then
right,
they'll try to grapple on as they respawn.
dude,
And
that's gonna be bad.
Pulse. Yeah,
That's
that'd
gonna be
great.
bad because if it's got like a short enough cooldown, you just sit there and spam it.
Yeah, like keep them off their own ship.
Mhm.
Oh man,
That's
that'll be great.
crazy.
All right, so next one.
Yep, it's cool.
That's probably one of the biggest changes that they did to PvP.
Yeah, that's gonna change things a lot, because a lot of the like we'll have to see how long the cooldown is too. Just really quick. The cooldown, if it's too short, is bad, but if it's reasonable, like here's the thing, it can be a lot of work to get onto somebody's ship, and if there is absolutely nothing to be done because the activation time is too short, you don't get notification, and you literally just have to jump on top of their ship, like plant your feet on their deck, then the boarding functionality is massively reduced. Like getting onto somebody's ship and providing a distraction is diminished.
Yeah, but it's still a distraction because they have to go and access their core. Almost nobody has their core immediately accessible. They at least have to go below deck, and they probably have to interact with a.
But on a large crew, if
Yeah.
I get
One
onto
person.
somebody's ship and
Yeah.
they're just like, just hit the Atlas, pulse, do it, and knock me off. And if it takes me 3 minutes to get back for the fight to develop, where we are actually back on their ship again, they just do it again.
Yeah.
In other words, it dramatically reduces the threat of somebody hanging below your ship. Now, again, this is the thing. It's going to help us. When we get it where we can access our own Atlas core, if we have a 6-man crew that we're up against and they all jump on our ship, who cares? We're better shots, and we'll just Atlas pulse everybody off. Like, so what? So, but it then limits boarding big time, especially for small ships, because you get on a small ship that's whipping around and flying around doing crazy maneuvers.
Yeah. This won't be as bad of an issue once lag isn't as big of a deal. Like
Right.
if they fix the lag to some extent, then you can literally land on top of their ship as
Right.
opposed to having to grapple, and that's the only way to do it. Because if you do it right, you can actually land on somebody's ship, but that's
And
just
if the cooldown is too short, like 30 seconds, I heard was mentioned, 30
right.
seconds would be too small of a cooldown, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where if you hit that and you can just constantly hit it, it's too short. If it's like 2 minutes, though, that sounds reasonable. Where you're like, I don't know if I want to use it right. There's just one guy on me. Maybe I'll save it for later, and it'll give you a little bit of a hesitation. Um, so yeah,
Because you could bait it out. You could bait it with one
right.
person, and
That's
then
what I was
later on,
thinking. Like
yeah,
one of us jumps down to bait that, and
and
then
then
like
both of us jumped
30 seconds later, the other person
Yeah.
grapples the ship or something. All right. Atlas cores and their upgrades now provide additional lift based on the materials used in their construction. This is I test out this a lot, and currently does nothing. So I was like, I'll put gold inside. Hopefully it'll lift us higher. Now it says additional
Maybe,
lift, not speed. Lift speed. So
but it doesn't say lift weight either. So you could interpret this as either way. I think
good.
this means I think that this means that it's the speed of your ability to bubble up and down.
I don't. I think this additional lift, I think, is kilogram, like additional, adding, like the ability to
But I
lift
mean,
more weight.
that's true, but it's also lift as in, you know,
Right,
it lifts up and down. But that said, it really could either be either way, but I also tend to think that kilograms.
right. If it does matter the speed of bubbling up and down, then it becomes, something to consider.
Yeah,
But
then it's actual reason. But right now, just use aluminum.
yeah,
Like bubbling speed doesn't, or bubbling, or the kilograms doesn't matter on a ship. Like how much it can hold. Like
it does
unless
matter
it's a
a
huge
tiny bit.
multiplier.
Yeah, it matters
Unless it's a huge multiplier.
if we can scrap a core piece so that we can, be 60 kilograms lighter because we didn't have to put one more core piece on. It might
Even then,
be
it would be only like 30.
right. It would be a very small change, but
Yeah.
40 material is what at the most. With
Because
aluminum, 40
yeah,
times 0.2
two
something.
Yeah,
Eesh.
but it's like 80 material, and then the core. It's like 25 per piece, 20 to 40. It's like basically nothing.
Right.
So if that's the case, like, woohoo.
Yep.
Maybe ships can be a bit bigger now, but ships already cannot be big. This to me doesn't matter,
Right.
like at all, unless it means that you can bubble up bigger faster, and it's like
Right.
an actual multiplier that's actually significant. Then it matters quite
Yep.
quite a bit.
If you can raise faster than somebody else, that's a benefit and a strategic thing that you'd want to have.
Yeah. And like if it was
potentially.
gold or something in the core, then I would absolutely like that would give gold an actual reason to exist.
Which I think they mentioned down below wasn't supposed to be part of engine, so maybe they did fix it. But we'll see.
All right, so
Players can now find and craft more convenient light sources than the torch. These are equipable in your character's gear slots, freeing her hands. They're fixated, freezing your hands for other tools. Equipping gear items are toggled with T, spacebar, and V, depending on the slot they're in. So I think we're starting to see those slot items in your gear. Like
yeah.
on the right-hand side, you have like the different like little slots that they're planning. So this is a little early
I think it's left.
introduction. Yeah, it might be left side.
Anyway,
Although
doesn't
your
matter.
glider goes on the left, so maybe that's just your
Yeah, that's part of the gear.
gear
as well.
slot.
Yeah. All right, so
Well, that might be equipped gear items are toggled with T, spacebar, and V, depending on this other end, might mean that you can toggle your glider with T, for example.
that would be really nice.
It toggles with
'Cause I
spacebar,
really
right? So
Yeah. I really hate like double jumping and the fucking glider always happening.
Right,
Like if I
right.
could toggle it where it doesn't work, that'd be fucking great.
or
'Cause
put
that's
it
one of the
in the T slot when your spacebar is jump, for example, would be good.
yeah.
So we'll see if we can
Oh, that's a good point. Because
have that flexibility. Right.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Spacebar activates it, so. Players can now freely rotate ship parts when placing them. Tapping Z will continue to rotate an object by 90 degrees, but holding Z allows the player to rotate them more precisely. they're still restricted on engines and wings, so you can only do 90-degree turns.
Cannons, panels. In the video they show a little video of it.
Right.
They've showed videos in the past, but the panels, being able to rotate panels, I think is a pretty big deal.
Yes.
For any ships that aren't blocky,
Right.
like it'll be really nice.
Being able to precisely wrap your paneling to your weird angular design sounds good.
Yeah.
Cannons, good as well, because we might
do that.
Like
a little bit.
our
We
front
might, like,
left
have
and front
ours-
right would want to be turned out just a tiny bit.
Yeah, just like
Because we almost never fire directly in with those two cannons, and so having a little bit more reach around our wings is preferable.
Yeah, we never fire like on with the left cannon. We never fire directly right.
What's up,
We never
Phaedrus?
fire directly
Yeah, that will,
left.
and that will kind of give us the ability to circle
Have side
people
cannons.
and have side
Yeah,
cannons in a
circle.
way.
Yeah, circle. That'd be really nice. So we can actually shoot to the side as opposed to,
Right.
the moment that they hit 90 degrees, they're just gone, and we have to like swap to the back cannons. So we can have some like overlap in the back cannons and front cannons. That'll be really nice.
I'm wondering if this has any effect on, like, they say certain things won't be able to rotate like this. Wings and engines, probably sails won't be rotatable. Helm,
Right.
probably not rotatable. Like, it's kind of weird.
If helm was rotatable, that'll be kind of nice actually, because we can stick out only just like a single pixel when we do the in and out using
Right.
the helm.
Thanks, Phaedrus. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Shouldn't take too long. They just
So,
released
yeah,
this.
that's cool.
Yep.
The schematics for railings can be seated.
Yep.
So I
Next
wonder
one.
if railings are like, because if you see in the actual video, let me pull up the exact points, search through it.
Yeah, with
But
free rotate implemented, the schematics for railings are finally being seeded into World, so they will be findable boxes. We're assuming the railings, some railing schematic, which yeah, if you can find that, because that sounds railings. How
At 6 minutes and 10 seconds in, you can see the railings. And to me, this looks like totally pointless and dumb, because who cares, right? Like, you're not going to fall off your ship, at least in that way. This is for like RPers and people that want to make their ship like really cool looking. But right now, railings is just another thing to like slam into. Ship lags, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be something that you can like latch onto. If this is something you can actually like hold onto, like interact with, fucking great. I would love that, but I doubt that this is what that is.
This so railings can be like good to place yourself, or not place yourself, to hold yourself onto the ship, but we've kind of found out that it's probably just going to kill you when the lag hits.
Yeah.
And then also it's going to help people that are on your ship, in a way. Like, if you're diving, they have a platform to stand on. If you're going up, they have something to hold on to. So I don't know. It's like a bucket. Makes your ship into a bucket, easier to land on. Can't slide off as easily. I don't see us ever using railing.
I mean, the only way I would ever see us using railings is if it's something that you can interact with, where you can like hold on to the railing, and therefore, it's another seat. It's like a seat to sit in.
But we know this is not the case right now.
I mean, it might be. I doubt it, but anyway.
See him walk up to it and just stand next to it. Yeah, it's so nice.
It doesn't look like they're interacting with it.
Next one is huge. Hallelujah. Thank the Lord. So good. Player names no longer display indiscriminately. Crewmates will display their names when in range, but other characters will only display their names if moused over. In addition, all character names are blocked by line of sight. So if you are shooting at somebody, you'll see their name. You'll see who you're shooting at.
Oh, no. Not all character names. As in, you cannot see that Vexus is below you if he is not.
No, yeah, right. Talking about the first part where the range will only display if you're moused over. So if you hold right click and point at somebody, you would see their name. And if you aim your gun at somebody, you'll see who you're firing at. But if you don't, if you're like below your ship and we're on like at a dock and we're on your ship inside, hidden, stealing your loots. Oh, I love it. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And like I've had lots of like PvP scenarios where I'm like sneaking up and like sneaking around and trying to get into their ship while it's docked and stuff.
Right,
And
right.
now I can actually fucking do that.
Yeah, and like Phaedrus just said, this like actual stowaways are possible now. You know, like
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
somebody's big ship and you like get on their dock and like hide inside their ship somewhere, like climb onto their Atlas core like in this weird angle where you're just like totally hidden from them, and like you're not walking around making footstep noise. And they just don't notice you. Yeah, you definitely stowaway. The cool part about this too is like it's not really likely.
Boarding is actually they kind of like balance boarding in a way too here because if they don't notice that you boarded, if like you're under the ship,
Right.
you can be like looting and stuff and like getting inside their ship. They have to actually like actually see your character or like mouse over you to know that you actually boarded them.
Yep.
So they gave you the Atlas pulse, but
They took away to
maybe you
see
don't even
everybody in
notice.
your ship. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And there's a lot of times where I've gotten whipped around in like, where somebody's climbing straight up, and so I fall into the back underneath their ship, you know, like in the bottom of their ship somewhere behind all their engines, and I can like salvage their stuff. But they always come after me because they know where I'm at. They've seen me,
yeah,
and now it's
like
gonna
where
be
did
like,
he go? Where did he go? Where is it? He's like
yep,
especially really large ships. You can
yep,
like hide in a really large ship,
yep.
and
If it,
they'll just think, oh, he died,
right.
like that.
So
I love this change. I
this
love
is
this change.
massive.
I specifically made um
The
a
post,
feedback post.
right?
I made a feedback post saying exactly this, pretty much. But there was they said that somebody linked another post that they were talking about this like back in
Yeah.
alpha.
I mean,
So this
I
is an
knew this
obvious.
would come at some point based on what their
Yeah.
other like PvP focus is. So this one's so huge. Sneaking around, you know, being able to like climb, because you know we use climb all the time. Just like see somebody's ship and just like, you know, like fly down to a dock and just climb on the back, you know, and just hold on, knowing that they're not be able to see you.
Oh, dude, you know what'd be great?
That,
One of us climbs onto like the ship, like on the front or something, where it's really hard for them to be able to see us, and then the other person like salvages, and then they kill that off, and they're like, "Oh, I gotta get out of here."
yeah.
And then I'm climbed on, I'm like latched on, and
They don't know to
then
deal
I
with the
can,
second guy.
yeah,
Yep, yep.
I could get into their loot, like just slowly climb up, and then get in and get into their loot, and like
Oh yeah,
get away.
we could totally bait that. Like,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
are in a ship, like salvaging their loot, and I salvage like um the shipyard, they won't know that somebody's in their ship, right?
Yeah,
So they
they'll
won't.
focus on
They'll
you.
focus on me and like just waste their time basically while you're in there just grabbing everything.
But like even then, like let's say it's docked, because docked is like an actual like prevention of dealing with stuff. Like
Well, you
I
just
would
have
have
to
to take a
salvage
lot
the
of
loot.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I could salvage the loot, or I could just stow away, and then they could fly away, and
Yep,
I would
yep.
have way easier access. Good man, I love it.
That's gonna be a lot of fun right there.
Yeah.
It's gonna dynamically change everything. And people are gonna mouse over and be like, "Vexes, fuck,"
Oh shit!
like that.
Who's that coming for us?
Yeah, like, oh, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? And they finally get a mouse over, and everybody's gonna freak out. It's gonna be good.
This also somewhat changes the purpose of like
Hmm.
cosmetics, because if you have like a crew uniform,
Oh yeah.
you can have that be
Yo,
an
that's a really good
easily
point.
identifiable thing, and people can know your crew uniform like a streamer, and like be out of the uniform, and just they're
Right.
like, oh yeah, don't worry about him.
And Phaedrus made a good point. This opens up a lot of solo play options because if people can't see you, you can stow away stuff like that. But there's other ways to, um, with people not seeing who you are, they don't know your. You could be just kind of
Yeah, you could.
a ninja looter, like you could
Yeah, yeah.
be a ninja play. Like your whole ship design is small and light and fast, where you scout out other ships and try to get on their ship and take their shit without them seeing you. Like, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do.
I love it. I love it so much.
Ride once.
All right.
Right. And then foliage and grass now blow into the wind, or blow in the wind.
Woohoo.
Sweet. Well, have a little bit more of a pretty environment, let's put it that way. Hopefully there's no performance impacts. There's some, but see how it... Is it going to be based on physics? Is it going to be based on the actual wind direction? Or is it just the same graphic back and forth? We'll see. I'm hoping they did something more interesting. All right, notable bug fixes. The distance calculation for nearby revival chambers now happens at death instead of respawn and ignores vertical distance. Crewmates should rarely respawn at different islands now, much less different biomes. So before,
Great.
vertical distance used to matter. I remember recently dying at the very northeast Cinevis island, and I respawned in the nearby island because it was a closer angular distance than the Cinevis island respawner when I was at the very bottom of the Earth, basically, because it's a lower island. So this way, it should just get you to the horizontal most close respawner, and that should, as I say, prevent people from like respawning all sorts of different places. If you all die in the same spot, you are most likely going to spawn to the same revival chamber, but not always.
This has happened to us multiple times, by the way. When we were really early on getting through our first storm wall, the ship died. Like, our ship got fucking destroyed in the storm wall.
Right.
But I got through, but the other two didn't get through.
Right.
So, that was kind of awkward because that, like, I had to come back to them because they needed to get through anyway. So they had to remake another ship to get through the storm wall. So, like, either way, it was better. If I'm on their side, then cool, we're all working together. If we all got through, then awesome, we got through.
Yep.
So
And
having your crew split up is really quite lame.
this also solidifies the ability to just make a ship that'll plow through, just go through, and die through a sand wall, like lower tier players,
Yep.
or even us if we make new characters. We know, okay, we're just gonna make some piece of shit like 30 resilience, 20 power, but we're just gonna go through as far and as fast as possible. The furthest away, oh, that's another thing. You could probably see where your islands are in your zone, and go through the sand wall where you're just the absolute furthest away from any reviver. And
It's probably the way they have it right now. It's probably the nearest by one that's in your zone that you're.
maybe
Because otherwise, you could just die next to a sand wall and get through.
that might happen. Like the way they've worded this, that might just be the way. Because I know of a couple places where there's just these big gaps between islands in a low tier zone, and then you have the sand wall there. Probably could. I mean,
If they did, that would be lame.
yep. But it also says the calculation happens at death. So again, if you just plow straight through and you make it as far as you can, and everybody just jumps off, swings off in the same direction, you might make it. But
Yeah.
whatever. After players travel some distance away from the registered shipyard and returned, the shipyard entered a broken state where you couldn't pick up ship parts with the tool. That has been fixed. That was an annoying bug. Small bug, but glad they fixed that one. Happened
This bug
to
happened
us
to me
today.
like a second ago.
Yeah. Just recently. Sometimes sunken, deteriorating ship frames would not be salvageable. This should be fixed now. So we didn't really encounter that, but
Cool.
there's been a couple that were floating that were unsalvageable. But anyways, getting that bug fixed, good. Death bags should no longer smash into things that do damage. This is good too because I lost a dinghy this way. I'm sure other people lost ships with their bag. We've taken damage from our bag before.
We almost lost a ship like half an hour ago with this bug. Right. It damaged our deck almost to the point of being dead. So if it had just been a little bit more, we would have lost a whole ship because of this bug. So
right.
It's great fix.
Big fix. Ship docking should happen more smoothly and naturally again. Not sure what again means.
Yeah.
Maybe they increased their range and then gave it a slower pull. So you get into a larger bubble, it will pull you in. But
that'd be fine.
I don't know what naturally again is, because it seems like it's always been the same for me at least.
Maybe back in alpha it was different or something like that.
Maybe they made it
that early.
Wings and engines are mirrored instead of rotated 180 degrees when placed on opposite sides of the hull for purposes of visual symmetry.
Phaedrus is right. Sand walls won't work with the new patch. No respawn towers in Badlands.
Oh, that's probably what they had to do. That makes total sense. Yeah, that's...
maybe you could do it with storm walls, though.
Talked about down there. Yep, storm walls might work. Good point.
Good point. Yeah, it's really good.
So the mirrored engines and wings is good. So your ship will look symmetrical, and also some of the wings and whatnot have weird... they just look weird when they're placed on the opposite side, so this will give everybody the ability to make a uniform looking ship. And
I think what this means is, you know how you go to one side of the ship and you place a wing and it's the correct direction, and then you go to the other side of the ship and try to place a wing and it's the wrong direction? I think this is what that's fixing.
No.
You don't think so?
Nope. I've seen it. You know the wings that like slant down and then go straight out? When you place them on one side, they go up and then straight out. Yeah. So hopefully they fixed it so the wings on both sides naturally snap to the forward position. But if all they do is just make them mirrored, it's good enough too.
Yeah. Like, there's one with the that has like a bend in it, and if you try to use both of those wings, your ship looks all lopsided. Yeah,
right.
That'd be good. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, cool.
All right, males now play the male vocalizations instead of the female ones now. You will no longer sound like a girl. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But if you picked a man, you probably want to sound like a man.
So, I don't think I've heard those, but it'd be fun to hear it.
I think it's when you like bump into things.
Yeah, take damage.
Like, yeah. Mine, it does. It's like it's a female. Oh, right. I didn't realize it, but.
Mm-hmm. So, So, at least you'll be able to know, like, you'll be flying around and you hear like, you'll be like, there's a guy stowed away on the ship somewhere. Get him. Yeah.
All right.
Pressing escape while placing an item cancels the placement instead of opening the menu. So you can cancel the placement.
Oh yeah, before, like when you're pressing 3, press 3 to place items on a ship. Before, the only way to like let go of that item was to either place it somewhere or swap to another what's it called?
Another tool, right?
Yeah, another tool. But now you can just press escape. I like that change.
Yeah,
because it was like kind of annoying.
It was. Yeah, if you wanted to like no longer select it, there was no easy way.
Yeah, to me, I just went to like salvager and then back. But good.
Okay. Impassable storms at the edge of the world no longer show a fully black screen, even if it ended up being a very clear indicator to turn around. It was unintended. So, edge of the world will no longer look like a deep
black death
void. Yes, exactly.
I actually dislike this change. I get why they changed it, but it was really fucking cool.
It was.
So, fine.
We have some stuff of that, but the immersion value and like hopefully you just get out there and it just looks like an endless expanse of nothingness. And
yeah, like I get that it's the right call, you
Right.
should do it. But it was so cool that you're going into the fucking void.
Yep.
It doesn't feel dumb or awkward to have like a world boundary like that.
Right.
But to me now it's just the edge of the world is just an invisible wall, which is really lame.
Yeah.
But the other one looks like a demon void, which is like, okay, cool, don't go to that.
And I don't know if they will ever, but it's something we need to test is if just going full bore into the edge of the wall, like do we
shit.
die? Yes, because I could totally see as a tactic to like point our ship towards the edge of the world and like jump off onto somebody else's ship and not care that our ship is going, full bore into the edge.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right. Every once in a while, a strange black void would appear on islands, rendering everything inside the sphere black. This has been fixed. I've never seen this.
That happened to me one time. It looked really weird. Everything was like imagine a really matte black
Right.
paint over everything.
I see. So
that's what it looked like.
That was a lighting bug then, because the lighting wasn't working for that island, and so everything looked like it was in the middle of a cave.
Like I could see the edges of things, but it was all like matte black.
Right.
It looked cool for a second.
Various UI fixes.
I wonder what
inventory fix.
Inventory fixes. Hopefully.
Log in, my fuel and my gliders disappeared.
Right.
Various optimizations and load balancing to improve frame rates and client performance have been performed. So they have worked on the optimization.
Yeah.
So they say. We'll see.
So they say.
I was full on that last patch, and now I'm like, it was good. So this one I'm going to take with a little bit more any future optimizations. I'm like, all right, let's check it out
felt
first.
like it got worse, like the optimization patch got like worse and worse over time.
But recently it's felt okay, although maybe it's just because we're in Canton.
Yeah.
So. All right, balance changes and tweaks of notability. Storm walls and sandstorms are more difficult to navigate through again, as they constantly turn ships off course now. So no longer do you just hold your heading. You're going to get whipped around left and right, left and right, left and right, right, left, and you're going to have to constantly navigate that. So losing your helm in a storm wall is going to be way worse, because you might not just be going straight for 10 seconds while you repair. You might be getting whipped all around.
Yep. But at the same time, it was difficult but possible to do solo, like to get into the storm wall and sand wall areas solo, and now it's going to be even harder. So.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily harder, but I think it's going to be like, right now we go through those sand walls with 38 speed, 37 speed in like 30 seconds. And if we're constantly like snaking our way through the sand wall, then it's going to just take longer, which is going to force you to have more durable, more resilient engines and wings, kind of lowering the or raising the bar for who can be in those areas. Like going into Canton or Osiris with a ship that can't make it in and out will not be possible. So you would rarely, because sure, can you build a ship inside Canton or Osiris? Yes, but are you going to have the fuel and like, what if you need more? I guess more material won't be a big issue, but yeah. Just made me think of the two of these down. We'll get to that. So anyways, the more difficult to go through just means you're going to snake through these things a lot, and if anything goes wrong, you get screwed over a bit more. I think raising the difficulty is okay though. So anyways. And yeah, getting a compass will be a big thing to get through all those and change how well you can make it through, because we went through our first ones with no heading, I don't think. So, all right, damage calculation formula from physics collisions has been revamped. The ultimate goal is to make ships less fragile and to reduce the fear in your crewmates' eyes when a loose part slides around your ship interior. Chain reaction should happen less often now, but this is a work in progress with a comprehensive damage system rehaul to come in future patches. So, less likely to have a catastrophic failure, chain reaction, nuclear explosion of your ship. But
I'm both happy and sad about this at the same, but mostly happy.
mostly happy because that's like changes how we play big time. Because I'm just totally like focused
Well, I'm
on
terrified. Like, if a single piece of our fucking ship is like heavily damaged at all, I'm
right,
like, repair it now, repair it. But now, if you lose a fucking panel, then you've lost some armoring for your internal stuff.
right, which
That's
is
the
how it
way I
should
think
be.
it should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the other thing is, and we haven't talked about or done much, but we might be able to double up our paneling. You know, if we find that losing a panel is not a big deal and it just slides off, it just falls off, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We can double it up and then have even more. Just no cares of what happens to it. It gets shot off.
But I feel like it should damage both at the same.
Right, but it might not. You know, that's the thing.
It might not. Yeah, it might not. We would need to test. Once this comes out, we need to test.
Yep. Because layering your armor, I noticed that you can place a large panel on the inside and the outside of your frame.
If you can do that, then yeah, that'd be great.
And that, kind of like airplane has a little,
Yeah, little
exterior,
gap right there.
little gap. And so paneling your ship in that manner, if it doesn't catastrophically fail everything else, would be really nice.
That'd be great. Yeah, you double layered.
Yep.
I would love that. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And we'd be like, all right, we lost our front left, paneling. We got our backup paneling like still there, and we lose that. Now we have a hole into our ship. So we'll definitely check that out because that sounds fun.
And
if it works.
That would make sense as to, decking is so much more resilient and there's only one layer of decking possible.
Right.
That would make sense because right now the paneling is like by far the weak point. But if you have 2 layers of paneling, that's pretty much the same as a deck. So, and it would make the difference between more resilient paneling more of a big deal because now it the effect is multiplied. The effect is doubled.
That's gonna be pretty good. And yeah, Phaedrus. He's double panels with wood, so it looks like shag carpet. All right. So that's gonna be a good one. Gonna have these slightly more armored, more durable, fights like earlier today where we dismantled that ship, with cannon fire. That's gonna be fun. All right, the Badlands. Good.
Anything that makes paneling needed is, I think, good because ships should be all paneled up.
Yep. All right, the Badlands are much less habitable now. Very few players will want to or be able to stay there indefinitely, as there will no longer be any revival chambers or fuel in the entire biome.
Big change.
Massive. I like that it is going to force people to be out of those areas a bit, and it's going to make you on edge being in there. Right now, if you're in there, you're like, if we lose our ship, we'll respawn, get some more high tier loot, rebuild. So it's if you're going into the Badlands now, it's going to be dangerous. This is going to really screw new players.
Yeah, because now we're probably not going to even hang out in the Badlands as much. We'll go in and out, but there'll be times as a result of this change that people just will not be in the Badlands.
Right.
There'll be literally no one, and that means that we have to be in the lobby zone. We kind of focus our efforts on going into the Badlands because we have to be somewhat good to be there, and therefore, you're worth our kill.
Yep.
But
Here, though, here's the thing. This is good in that there's a lot of like back and forth here. It's good because kills matter more. Downing that ship means a big deal in the Badlands now. Now meaning when the patch is released. If you down somebody into the drink, you know they're out for they're out for hours. So their whole crew is like fucked. I like this for like Osiris because here's the thing with Osiris. It feels like we go in there, and we kill off Old Man Billy's ship, and he just dupe creates a whole nother aluminum ship right there in the same zone that we just downed him at, and he's back up and flying in an hour with a fully decked out ship again. There's no pain to the death, right? So same with Saramore
or any. Us off,
Yep. Yes, but us we're more likely to.
We're less likely to steal ships and use those ships now because if we killed, we can't get back.
Right, and another thing is the whole like onslaught of just death that was those couple days where we were just stealing everybody's ship and killing off everybody else with their other ships. That's not going to be possible because you can't respawn at a local reviver.
Yep.
So if your ship goes down with your respawner and you didn't land on an island and make a new one, which I'll just have to focus on that more myself, but that means you lose your spawner once and you die and you're out of the Badlands. So it could be anywhere, and it's going to actually punish solo play quite a bit in a crew setting where like I log on solo. If I do die and I lose my spawner, I could spawn in a totally different zone that
we have to go quite a ways to pick you up.
Right. So we'll see how that plays out. There's the good news is big alliances can set up shop. They can trade for fuel in there. You will always know if you're a new player going to meet players in tier 4 that if you're bringing fuel, they will trade you 2,000 titanium for 1,000 fuel. Like there's going to be an economy inside there for fuel. Because we could totally do that.
And also something kind of cool about this is it's like Mad Max-esque.
Right. Good point.
Where
that's
like
cool.
fuel is the big thing. That's like a big deal in the
right.
in the danger zone.
Right.
In the Thunderdome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. And then I think this is going to lead into the Sky Whale because if this, I don't know for sure, but it kind of feels like Sky Whale with fuel, kind of makes sense. But if you're in the Badlands and you're running low on fuel and you spot this big old Sky Whale, you're going to want to go after it. You're going to want to make it a successful run, and so is everybody else that sees it. So could be interesting to see how that plays out if it is a fuel source. Pretty sure it would be based on it being a whale, not sky shark. It's not sky dolphin.
Yeah.
Sky whale. Whales are fuel. All the blubber.
It'd be cool if they made it a different type of fuel, like whale blubber or something like that, or something.
Yeah. Right. Instead of like this runs on oil. This sky whale runs on oil.
It's made out of oil.
Looting fuel would be huge, and our massive fuel storage is huge because we're right outside of the Badlands, and we can go grab a couple stacks, go fuel up, stop by the gas station. And not that it's like likely, but if somebody did set up a gas station, we might let it live. Like,
don't fuck with just the gas station. Everything else.
Right.
All right.
Like if we can like roll up and like we just stole like lots of loot from somebody, and like somebody's in that one spot, we're like, yo, what's up, man? We need some more fuel. And they're like, all right, well, price has gone up recently. We need 1.5k titanium for this stack. Like, all right, I got you. Here you go.
But it's like, hey, you've tried to hike the prices up on us.
Yeah, exactly.
we'll kick you out of this zone.
Yep. Like, are you sure you want to raise the prices up? You'd be like, all right, for you guys, you get a special deal. That'd be pretty fun to see some kind of fueling station that somebody, because they could totally do it. Like the Freeport thing could be an actual thing.
And the scarcity, that scarcity is what creates economy.
Yep.
Like if you have that thing as scarce, then people will want that thing, and therefore people will trade for that thing.
Yep.
And that would drive people to bring loads of fuel in. Like right now, there's no real reason. Like everything is freely available everywhere.
Yep.
So like, who cares?
So it's gonna be fun to see that economy shift.
You also have to realize this is additionally added in at the same time that they're adding in getting into the Badlands being more expensive, harder to do.
Right.
Because of the so that combination, they did that combination on purpose for sure.
Yep.
Their bank got destroyed today. Oh, that's fucking great. Who destroyed it? Did they? I think I know how they did it. If they did. I had some inside information on that.
I mean, destroyed or just looted? Unclaimed shipyards. Yep. Oh, Saramore. Saramore's bank lost everything.
No. Saramore completely destroyed the.
Oh, okay. Bank. Gotcha. Nice.
Their bank, they lost every single ship that they had online, either ramming or being stolen, while they left shipyards unclaimed. What does that mean? What does the shipyards being unclaimed mean? That doesn't seem to matter.
Like if they left the island doesn't know who owns this ship, so somebody can come along and like take it, I guess.
The shipyard, but like the ship that shouldn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they had it docked or something. That would be dumb.
Could be.
I don't know why that matters.
Like a docked ship like that is safer in a sense because bend it, shoot people off, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Oh, so you took off? You took the
Oh,
bank and drove it into the drink? I have to check out Saramore's stream later then. Sounds like. Yeah, we like Saramore. We've chatted. He's actually been in this in our Discord. Not many people can say.
Yep.
That's awesome. But anyway.
All right, almost done here.
Yep.
Resources stats have been rebalanced and some errors fixed. Farewell golden combustion internals. Your effectiveness was a spreadsheet error. So rebalanced.
All of the spreadsheets have to be redone.
Have to be redone, but we're pretty sure it's going to be
tungsten
and aluminum. They could have just seen gold and some other like Skycore things.
This might make titanium worse to case with, though, if that's the case.
I don't think so. Titanium is like bulletproof. Like I don't know, like
yeah.
Why is it so non-durable? Like you can go watch people shoot a titanium block with a 50 cal and it doesn't do any damage. It's like dink. So that's weird, but we'll see. Hopefully they have not tweaked it too much. We'll see. I think it's just like copper, gold, and silver are the things that have been, because they're outliers. For example, we have iron, bronze, and steel, right?
But if gold's effectiveness was a spreadsheet error, then what the fuck is it for? I mean, like the only thing that I can think of is gold should be really good for Atlas Core.
That's the thing, right? The Skycore stuff would be what I would think.
If that's the case, then awesome.
Because
that'd make it useful.
Because you have copper, silver, gold, right? The natural progression in, like, not entirely, but in general, in terms of conductivity and so on, right? So, like, how gold is much more resilient for whatever. So, we have iron, bronze, and steel, which iron itself, rusty and deteriorates very quickly. Bronze is it's softer, but it's better metal for like making things out of. And then you have steel, which is obviously super good. And then you have tin, titanium, aluminum. What's the tungsten one?
Then you have tungsten.
Then you have tungsten. So I don't know, but hopefully it's
Nickel.
yeah, that's right. And
I don't know what the low tier one be for that. Lead,
Lead.
nickel. Yeah, there it is.
so we'll see. We'll have to potentially test. We'll at least test the paneling when this happens. Got to make sure we at least test the paneling. So, all right, individual stats on schematics now have a minimum possible value that depends on the schematic's rarity. So individual stats now have a minimum that they cannot go below. So we will no longer. I'm assuming that's 20, but we're unlikely to see like a 15 fuel efficiency engine tier 4.
This I think is actually a really big problem. Like I think that this is.
It deserves a wipe.
Really, yeah, this right here deserves a wipe of the entire server. Because
people that have the high ones are,
they're forever better.
Nobody else can catch up.
Yeah, like that's a really big problem. This if this means what we think it means, then because right now if you have, let's say the minimum overheat limit is now 25 or something like that.
Right.
Bare minimum cannot go lower than anybody that right now has an overheat limit of 10 and has those like 15 points in power instead has a permanent advantage forever and ever on anybody. This is
until a wipe,
in my opinion, until a wipe. But in my opinion, this is the biggest problem in this entire patch notes. Like this right here is a really big issue for any new players.
Yep.
And this should not go in if it is what we're thinking it is.
Right.
Until a wipe. And which case, once the wipe happens, then sure.
Yeah, Phaedrus, they will definitely wipe like open beta or something, but
like
for
in
now,
the meantime, everyone's fucked.
They're only at 0.1.4. They're not at like, yeah, they're not even close to.
They're probably gonna have 1.0 be like actual full release.
Right, that's usually the case, but 10%, 10 to 15% there, that's not accurate. They could release at 3. It was 0.3 could be actual 1. But the point is, like, it's super early to everything, so not wiping would be dumb, and it's not a bad thing to wipe. It causes everybody to go out and explore the world again. So timing it well would be good.
Everyone's on the same, yeah.
Yeah, and he's
to me, I think that this just should not go in. Like they should scrap this and wait for whatever time that they would otherwise wipe.
That's a really good point. This is something where everybody who has stuff currently is going to be a massive advantage of everybody else going forward. And if they can just take this one thing out, wait for when they're going to do a wipe, why not? Like it seems fairly small of a change. Why not wait for the wipe, right? Because then it puts everybody on the same playing field. It's something that they can write all the code for, set it aside, and just not implement it until a schematic wipe. So
yeah, I might have to write up a thing just on this one thing, because like that's a really big problem for new players.
Yeah. So Phaedrus, the stats, if you've looked at our engines, for example, just engines, this is a minimum possible value that will be on overheat limit. So let's say overheat limit in a tier 4, you will never get less than 25 on that stat. That means those points aren't elsewhere. They're not in power, not in resilience. So on, a new schematic will not min-max stats as much. Like there's an engine with 96 power, and I have a propeller-based a spin-up engine with 96 spin-up. Those won't be possible, but the people who have those now have a massive advantage. So Thought this was to
Anyway,
keep
yeah, I'll write something up on that.
tiers from being underleveled. No, it's just that like maybe the that's the other possibility that the total point cap has gone up.
Yeah, if that's the case, then okay, sure.
Right. Like if for example the total point cap has gone up where you can still get a 96, but you will never have less than a 25 overheat limit. That's
Then
fine.
it gives the new players. Then it gives the new players.
Then
a
the new
massive
players have an
because,
advantage. Yeah.
Because not by a lot. It would just be on spin up and fuel efficiency. But like
Right.
still that still exists.
It would give. So if it is that way, and that's probably something to clarify rather than. It's definitely worth
Right.
calling this issue out, and
Yeah,
clarifying it would be really good because if it raises the point cap, great. You know, I saved my 2,500 knowledge for a good reason.
Yeah.
You know, get 5 attempts at getting something really good, like a 25 fuel efficiency, 50 resilience, 90 power engine. Yes.
All right. So
Next, characters now need to be standing or rappelling, have their feet on the surface, to equip or unequip clothing and gear, including gliders and the new lights. In a future patch, there will be larger rework of the glider to make it both more useful over short distances and less exploitable for long distance travel. Boom.
cool, awesome, big change.
So let's say we're gliding down to an enemy ship. We grapple onto their ship. We're swinging around, and they hit their Atlas pulse, and we fly off. We lose our glider, so we have to keep wood on. We have to keep gliders at hand, ready to go. So that's going to be a much bigger.
And we can't just like, all right, jump off and scout, guys. Like we can't just like scout at any
Correct.
moment that we want to scout.
Yep. Which
We have to
is
actually
kind of loops back into the fuel thing in a tier 4 zone where we can't just scout open space without losing the glider. So the cost to benefit of scouting like that is gone way down. I don't really like that.
I
like gliding into the void off to one direction in like the calm and like looking around like how the game looks, but I understand the balance issue of it. So
to me, I think this is fine if the draw distance wasn't so incredibly tiny.
yeah.
Like it's so small that it's really hard to see other ships in the sky.
Right.
Like we find ships all the time, but I'm sure that there has been dozens, literally dozens of ships that have barely skirted around our tiny ass little bubble. And if we had seen them off in the distance, like that would have been way more
Right.
like fights happening.
So this is more for shipboarding, like why they put this in, because you can't just like grapple somebody's ship, throw your glider away, and then proceed to kill them without having any risk. You literally would want to jump onto their deck, put your glider away, and during that whole time, it extends. It gives the people a time frame to deal with you, if they didn't notice you. So, one of the things with this is if we're jumping down onto an enemy ship, that's going to be like the first thing we would want to do is to try to save that glider by rappelling, putting our feet on their paneling or whatever, doing that quick gear swap to put it in our belt, and then continue on. So I can see, I like it as a balance thing, but I wish, and again, they said they'll rework it, in the future, but I think having something, maybe if it's just a cheap, another kind of like one directional glider, like where you can't turn it or something, would be really useful for a scouting kind of thing, or like jumping down to an island and like losing it. I think a different type of glider that can go in just one direction in the future would give you still that ability to just coast into the void and like look around, which is just really enjoyable for me. When I jump off a ship and I'm just going in between islands, just looking for something. So yeah, exactly. It gives people time to react with the name tag change, where if you want to save, you can't just latch onto somebody's bottom of their ship and then they never see you, and you can put your glider away and everything. Now you have to actually like get up there and boost a couple times, maybe reveal yourself, and be able to put your glider away. So I just the one thing I'm sad about is it's going to lessen my desire to just jump off and be free. Like that's such a good feeling. Like you can just jump off anywhere. It's part of the game in my mind that hopefully they don't. Hopefully they bring something back in terms of just randomly scouting, because it is a really good feeling to just, even if it was something simple, like a simple glider that you couldn't turn, so you couldn't use it for PvP, so to speak, but it costs like 100 wood, and it's like just a paper airplane kind of thing where you just go straight. You just throw it, go straight, no turning. Would be nice, so you can still have that freedom of exploration. Yeah, exactly. All names. Being free of a ship can be so fun. So, but I understand it for the balance. That's my only concern is the enjoyability. Anybody who's playing from this patch onwards doesn't get that freedom of flight, of just taking off, like diving under islands and stuff. So we'll see. This is something I would probably bring up myself, because if I just mention that a couple times, that freedom of flight, that just enjoyable diving around an island, diving underneath an island, it's bad because the whole point of having the island where you can build underneath it is people can't see you. So if it's really cheap and easy for people to keep diving under islands, then it's, so anyways, it's good balance. Again, I hope in the future they have something to kind of parachute or something in the direction. Next, we have tweaks have been made to how ships turn. Large ships can now turn more easily when not flying at speed. I think that's a really good idea to give the core a bit more torque in turning for big ships, because
slow as fuck now.
Yeah, I think turning should be based on your core materials, like your weight, your lift to total weight ratio, but then again, that's probably what's going on right now. So I don't know. But right now, it shouldn't take that long to turn ships. You're in the air, for goodness sakes. Like, this should also help a lot of new players when we first started out and we made like a 990 kilogram ship and we're like, it takes 30 seconds to turn 45 degrees or something. You're like, what?
Because we also didn't know about rudders.
Right. Yeah, big ships. Don't do big ships. Grappling to a shell shot out of a cannon will snap your rope now. Everybody, you're welcome. Take a bow. Like, people are like, what the fuck? The devs.
How did Vexus get on our ship?
Yep.
He's a hacker. Literally, Octane's crew was saying that because you cannoned you onto them.
Right. I think we're gonna test this out, because here's the thing. When I see this, I think we're launching yourself from a node on the like a mining node. Snap your rope now.
I hope not. I get it. It's definitely the right call. Like, OP. But like, it was so cool.
It was
so cool that just think about it. It's physics. You have a fucking like grapple hook, and it makes sense that you could grapple onto it. Not in terms of like real life fucking physics and real life logic, but it makes sense in terms of the game that it's a physics. You can grapple onto the thing and you get dragged along. And
right.
It's so good in terms of emergent gameplay. They never designed that. They never designed for that to happen, but people using it in real actual combat, and it was actually affecting things. And also, this is a way that we use to scout, and now we can't have this or the other type of scouting, and that's just like,
well,
I get why they've changed it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And here's the thing. Unless they change a lot of the grapple mechanics, we might find a way to make this work.
Yeah.
Because, and it might be just harder, but I can kind of think of a way to make this work. Like, as you're shooting, boosting forward off the ship, getting forward momentum to latch onto it where there's not a disparity between the speeds as much.
But if it's not reliable like
Right.
it was before, then
Right,
it's
right.
not really useful in terms of a.
I'm just saying it's something I would want to test out because when they say that it'll snap your rope, it doesn't say you can't grapple to it. It says that it'll snap your rope. Well, like you can fall at like 50 miles an hour and like grapple a ship and not have your rope snap. So is it just a physics thing where your rope gets so, like, for example, the reason it works is because the cannon shell gets like 200 meters in front of you before you start flying off the ship. Like it stretches elastic, and
Yeah.
then you get pulled off. Can we shorten that distance? In other words, let's say I was on an island. This is stupid, but this is how I would test it. I'm on an island. Our ship's parked 100 meters behind, and you shoot a cannon over my head. Can I grapple it while it's right next to me and, fly with it? And that, like, is there some way to do this? Anyway, something I want to test.
Yep.
And last, placeholder crow's nest model has been remade. Yay! Never placed one. Sure, we'll see some people using it. So, probably has some rails now, I'm guessing. So people can stand up there and not get totally wrecked by a slight bump.
Right. I'd love people to interact with it.
Right.
Where you could just get popped up and then you could 360 view around. That'd be great, but probably not.
That kind of stuff is like band-aid for the real problem, which is the back and forth lag. So hopefully they fix the lag rather than give placeholder stuff like that. But yeah. So thanks, Herb, producer of Worlds Adrift, for the patch notes.
We feed on, that's what we need. And see you in the...
Watch the last bit here. Yep. A couple members can watch through the last part of the video. Grass blows in the wind, and when you walk through it, nice. Can rotate storage however you want. Place paneling to align weird stuff. Guardrails. LOL. Head and hip mounted lamps. I didn't see that. Hip mounted lamp. Flying over. Grapple on. I like how slow they react. That's great.
Seems realistic then.
Pulsed them off. Yep, you just killed 2 people. Good job. Good job. You interacted with your ship and you've killed 2 people. Skill. That's the worst part for me is like, fighting people off the bottom of your ship is skill, right? Like, getting them off of your ship is skill. And this is like, get wrecked. I killed you all with 1 pulse, and you have to remake your gliders. Ha ha ha. So, I like it. Give the newer players all the tools in the world. Give the less PvP oriented players all the tools in the world, so they have less to complain about. Still die. So, yeah, exactly. Pressing button is easy mode, but I think it works. I do think it works. So. All right, that was posted by Herb. He's a good guy. He posted a response to me early on when I started playing. He was direct about the PvP changes. We'll see. I like what they're doing. These are overall good changes, in my opinion.
Only one that I think that has a significant issue, and that's
Yep.
only if it's working like I think it is.
Right. Schematic thing. So that's it for the patch preview review. We're going to switch over to Path of Exile here in a little bit. Probably going to take a short break, like 15, 20 minutes or so. 30 minutes, somewhere in that range, but I'm pretty good to go. Just need to switch over some stuff, probably get some food, and start up a Path of Exile stream for a bit. Ollie told you patch, also patch all the known duping methods. I mean, that sounds like a bug fix thing they should mention, but that's good. Good. Yeah, good job reporting that, because that's a big, like, it demoralizes new players to play where somebody else is just churning out high-end stuff. And of course, it would, that's the thing, duping, if they didn't fix duping, people could dupe fuel in tier 4 zones. So,
Yep.
like, if we see any, like, if anybody sees any duping, that's a huge thing to report. So, probably didn't want to give people a heads up. I don't know. Like I said, if it's out there, it needs to be squashed. Like, they're going to make duping fuel a massive, like, uncalculable, huge thing to have happen. And so,
Well, somebody already hit level 100 in Path, by the way.
it's like, I take it was him. No, yeah. All right, Phaedrus. See you later, man. See you guys. If you want to watch Path of Exile again, about 30 minutes, and we'll start up again. So, ending stream. Have a good night. Thanks for watching this, and I'll see you guys next time. And more Worlds Adrift and other games tomorrow. See you guys.